James Carter, a 30-year-old African-American man, works as a waiter at the Silver Spoon, an upscale restaurant in downtown Chicago. Despite earning a degree in business administration, a challenging job market forced him to take on whatever work he could find. James is well known among colleagues and patrons for his warm smile, impeccable service, and willingness to go the extra mile for customers. Growing up in a working-class family on Chicago's South Side, James was instilled with a strong work ethic and deep compassion for others by his parents. His father, a construction worker, and his mother, a nurse, emphasized the importance of perseverance and kindness. Although being a waiter is not his dream career, James carries these values into his daily work, striving to excel and make a difference even in a role far removed from his aspirations. During a bustling Friday evening at the Silver Spoon, James Carter expertly navigated the crowded dining room, balancing trays and ensuring his tables were well attended. The restaurant hummed with energy, filled with the clinking of glasses, the murmur of conversation, and the occasional burst of laughter. As James approached his assigned section, he noticed a woman in a wheelchair being seated at one of his tables. She appeared to be in her mid-52s, her silver streaked hair neatly styled, and her kind eyes crinkling at the corners as she offered a warm smile to the hostess. James couldn't help but feel intrigued by her presence. There was a quiet elegance about her, something that seemed to set her apart from the typical clientele. As he approached her table, he noticed she was dining alone. While solo diners weren't uncommon, something about her demeanor caught his attention. She seemed pensive, her fingers lightly tracing the pattern on the tablecloth as if lost in thought. "Good evening, ma'am. Welcome to the Silver Spoon," James greeted warmly. "My name is James, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. May I start you off with something to drink?" His voice was professional, yet inviting, as it always was when he interacted with customers. The woman looked up, her gaze meeting his with a flicker of recognition that was so fleeting James wondered if he had imagined it. "Hello, James," she said softly, her voice clear but gentle. "I'd love a glass of white wine, please. Whatever you recommend." As James moved to fulfill her request, he couldn't shake the sense that there was more to this encounter than met the eye. Her calm but curious demeanor left him wondering why she seemed so unusually focused on him. Little did he know, this meeting would change the course of his life forever. As James returned to Sahra's table with her meal, he noticed the intensity in her gaze, as if she were carefully studying him. After a moment of silence, Sahra spoke, her voice tinged with emotion. "James, I want to thank you not just for your excellent service tonight, but for something far more significant. Something you probably don't even remember." James blinked in confusion, his brow furrowing slightly. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't think I understand. Have we met before?" he asked cautiously, his mind racing to place her face. Sahra shook her head, a bittersweet smile spreading across her lips. "No, we haven't met, but you changed my life 5 years ago," she said, reaching into her purse. She pulled out a folded piece of paper, smoothing it out on the table. It was a weathered newspaper clipping. James leaned in to see the headline, "Local Hero Saves Woman from Burning Car." His eyes widened as he took in the grainy photograph accompanying the article. There, in the black and white image, was a younger version of himself, his face smudged with soot, helping paramedics load someone into an ambulance. The memory of that night hit him like a wave. The screeching tires, the acrid smell of burning rubber, the heat from the flames. He had been walking home from a late-night study session when he witnessed a car crash. Without hesitation, he had rushed in to pull an unconscious driver from the wreckage moments before the vehicle was engulfed in flames. "That's you, isn't it?" Sahra asked, her voice trembling slightly as she pointed to the photo. James nodded slowly, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, that's me. But how do you know about this?" Sahra's eyes filled with tears as she explained. "Because the woman you saved that night was my daughter Anna. You gave her a second chance at life." James sat back, stunned. He had always wondered about the person he saved, but never imagined their paths would cross like this. Hearing Sahra's words, he felt an overwhelming mix of disbelief, humility, and pride. Sahra shared how James's selfless act of courage had forever changed her family's life. Her daughter Anna had survived the crash but sustained severe spinal injuries that left her paralyzed from the waist down. Despite this, Anna's resilience blossomed, and she turned her adversity into a source of inspiration for others. Today, she works as a motivational speaker, sharing her story of survival and strength with audiences far and wide. Sahra's voice trembled with gratitude as she explained how James's bravery not only saved Anna's life, but also empowered her to create a meaningful and impactful path forward. As Sahra's words sank in, James felt a rush of emotions he couldn't quite name. Her heartfelt gratitude, paired with the knowledge of how his actions had given Anna a second chance at life, stirred something deep within him. For years, James had quietly carried the memory of that night, the burning car, the overwhelming heat, and the adrenaline that propelled him to act. But until this moment, he had never truly grasped the magnitude of his impact. Sahra's story brought a clarity he hadn't experienced before, forcing him to reevaluate his own life and the choices he had made. James had spent years feeling stuck, working a job that didn't align with his aspirations, going through the motions without a clear direction. Yet now, hearing about Anna's remarkable journey, from tragedy to triumph, he couldn't help but feel inspired. Her resilience and ability to turn adversity into a platform for change lit a spark within him. James realized he too had the power to create a greater purpose for himself, one that could extend beyond the walls of the restaurant. "Ah!" he said, after a pause, his voice steady but filled with newfound determination. "Thank you for sharing this with me. I can't tell you how much it means to know that Anna is thriving. I'd like to meet her if that's okay with you and her, of course. I'd love to hear her story firsthand." Sahra's face lit up with a smile, her eyes brimming with emotion. "Oh, James, she would absolutely love that. In fact, Anna is giving a speech at the community center next week. Would you like to attend? I know it would mean the world to her to meet the person who gave her a second chance at life." James nodded enthusiastically, a sense of purpose washing over him. "I'd be honored," he said sincerely. As he returned to his duties that evening, James couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point. For the first time in years, he felt connected to something larger than himself, a ripple effect of his actions that had touched lives in ways he'd never imagined. Meeting Anna felt like the next step in embracing that purpose. The evening of Anna's speech arrived, and James sat quietly in the audience, anticipation and nervousness swirling within him. The room was filled with an attentive crowd, but James could focus on only one thing: the woman he had unknowingly saved years ago. When Anna wheeled onto the stage, her presence was commanding, her smile radiant. She exuded confidence, a testament to her strength and determination. As she began her speech, James listened intently, captivated by her story. Anna spoke about the accident that had forever changed her life, recounting the pain, the fear, and the uncertainty she had faced in the aftermath. She described how the actions of a stranger, someone who risked everything to pull her from the wreckage, became the turning point that allowed her to embrace a second chance at life. Now paralyzed, Anna had transformed her challenges into a source of inspiration, dedicating herself to uplifting others through motivational speaking. Anna's words resonated deeply with James. Her resilience and determination to turn adversity into a meaningful journey struck a chord. He realized that, like Anna, he had the power to overcome his own limitations and pursue a life of greater purpose. Her story inspired him to take bold steps, to move beyond his current circumstances, and create a life that aligned with his true values. As the audience erupted into applause, James felt a surge of emotion and clarity. Anna's strength became a catalyst for him to embrace change and live a life driven by courage and impact. Inspired by Anna's story and the profound impact of his past actions, James made a life-changing decision. He resigned from his job at the Silver Spoon, leaving behind the familiar routine of restaurant work to pursue a career that aligned with his newfound sense of purpose. Determined to make a difference, he enrolled in a firefighter training program, a path that would allow him to directly help others in critical moments. At the same time, James began volunteering at a local youth center, sharing his experiences and teaching fire safety to children. His sessions became a highlight for the kids as he used his own story to emphasize the importance of bravery, quick thinking, and the ripple effects of small acts of courage. The youth center provided James with a sense of community and fulfillment, giving him an outlet to inspire the next generation. The transition wasn't easy. Financially, James faced significant challenges as he balanced the demands of his rigorous firefighter training with part-time work to make ends meet. His family, though proud of his courage, worried about the dangers of his chosen path and the uncertainty of his future. There were moments of doubt when the weight of his decisions felt overwhelming, but James kept moving forward, drawing strength from the memory of Anna and the lives his actions had already touched. Each day in training pushed James to new limits, testing his physical and mental resilience. Despite the hardships, he felt more alive and connected to his purpose than ever before. The challenges he faced only reinforced his determination to dedicate his life to serving and protecting others, knowing that the path he had chosen was worth every sacrifice. As James settled into his new path, his connection with Anna and her mother, Sahra, deepened. Anna began incorporating James's story into her motivational speeches, sharing how his courage had given her a second chance at life. For audiences, the tale of their unlikely bond, formed through an act of selflessness, became a powerful reminder of how one person's actions could create ripples of change. James, in turn, uttered words inspiring, often attending her events and drawing strength from her resilience. Beyond his collaboration with Anna, James became a mentor to the children at the local youth center where he volunteered. Drawing from his own experiences, he encouraged the kids to believe in themselves and strive for greatness, regardless of their circumstances. His fire safety workshops became more than just lessons in emergency preparedness. They were opportunities to instill confidence and hope in young minds. One boy in particular, David, a shy 12-year-old, formed a close bond with James. Seeing David's interest in firefighting, James took him under his wing, offering guidance and support. For James, moments like these affirmed his decision to leave behind a stagnant life and embrace a path that allowed him to give back to the community. His journey of service now inspired others to dream bigger and reach higher. With the unwavering support of Sahra and Anna, along with the guidance of his mentor Thomas, James began to fully grasp the profound ripple effect of selflessness. Their encouragement reminded him that his one act of bravery had not only saved a life, but had also inspired hope and resilience in others. Anna's speeches, Sahra's gratitude, and Thomas's mentorship fueled James's determination to succeed in his firefighter training. They showed him the power of connection and the importance of giving back. Motivated by their belief in him, James embraced his new role, not just as a firefighter in training, but also as a community leader dedicated to making a difference through courage, service, and compassion. The day of James's final firefighter examination arrived, marking the culmination of months of rigorous training, personal growth, and unwavering determination. As he stood ready, memories of his journey flooded his mind. The burning car he had once approached without hesitation, the gratitude in Sahra's voice, and the inspiration he found in Anna's resilience. Each moment had shaped him into the person he had become, giving him the strength to pursue this path with purpose. James knew this day was more than just a test. It was a reflection of his commitment to creating a meaningful impact. The skills he had gained, the sacrifices he had made, and the connections he had built all came together to prepare him for this moment. He thought of the children at the youth center, the community he was determined to protect, and the future he now envisioned with clarity. No matter the outcome of the exam, James understood that his legacy was already taking shape, not just in the career he was building, but in the lives he had touched along the way. His story was one of courage, resilience, and the enduring power of selflessness, proving that one act of kindness could spark a lifetime of purpose. Our next episode will air during safety, days back from the Waverly trial, when the majority of people in the United States could be expected to vote for the same candidate.